crucial pair of game twos tonight, but we're going to start our show with breaking news. Sandy Brondello out as head coach of the New York Liberty. In a statement released by the team, it says in part, quote, Sandy finishes her tenure in New York as the winningest coach in franchise history, and she took us to never seen before heights as the first head coach to lead the Liberty to
The New York Liberty just made one of the most baffling moves in recent sports history, and it's exposed a deep-seated problem running through the entire WNBA. One week, Sandy Brondello was a celebrated head coach who finally brought a championship to New York. The next, she was out of a job, dismissed with a cold, corporate press release that felt more like a corporate memo than a thank you note. This wasn't just a firing, it was a statement. And the message it sent is players, fans, and analysts questioning everything they thought they knew about the league. The official reason makes zero sense when you look at the facts. But when you follow the trail of whispers, rumors, and one very specific, very honest compliment, the real story begins to unravel. This is about more than basketball. It's about power, perception, and the one superstar the establishment still can't seem to handle. If you're seeing this, you need to know the whole story. Hit subscribe so you don't miss a single detail of this unfolding drama.
Though another story we're following in the W, the Liberty. They parted ways with head coach Sandy Brondello this week. Brondello had led the Liberty to 2 WNBA finals in the last 4 seasons. And of course, she won the championship with the Liberty last year. And today we heard from the Liberty brass for the first time since her dismissal. What can you tell us about why the Liberty made this decision? Because it was perplexing to a lot of fans.
Yeah, well, Liberty GM Jonathan Kolb met with a select group of reporters today, and he called this decision proactive, not reactive, and said that it was really a determination to try to continue to evolve with the league and really lean into innovation and adapting with where the league is going. So much so, in fact, that the same kind of effort and conversation was on his mind last year when they ultimately won the championship.
Let's start with the one thing the New York Liberty hope you'll ignore, Sandy Brondello's resume. This wasn't a mediocre coach. This wasn't someone who failed to deliver. Sandy Brondello was, by the numbers, the most successful coach the Liberty have ever had. She finishes her tenure as the winningest coach in franchise history. She took a team that was 16-20 and turned them into a perennial playoff contender. In 2023, she led them to a stunning 32-8 record and a finals appearance. And in 2024, she did it again, going 32-8 and this time finishing the job, delivering the New York Liberty their first ever WNBA championship. She's one of only 2 coaches in league history to win titles with multiple franchises. Her 40 playoff wins are the second most all time. This is a legacy of undeniable, historic success. In any sane sports world, a championship buys you years of job security. For Sandy Brondello, it bought her less than a year. The Liberty's general manager, Jonathan Kolb, didn't frame this as a simple firing. He described it as a fork-in-the-road moment for the franchise. In his view, the organization could either stand still or embrace change and move forward. He was adamant that this was not a reactive decision to the first-round playoff exit, nor was it punitive. Instead, he called it a proactive and bold move, rooted in being proactive based on a thorough examination of the team's future needs. Kolb made the stunning assertion that this is not a results-based organization, clarifying that it's not just about winning or losing, but about how we position ourselves to be at the top of the league in a real, sustainable way.
Now, Sandy Brondello has been to the postseason every single year since she's been in New York. She's won 2 championships, one in Phoenix, one in New York. I'll ask you, fair or foul, that the Liberty are parting ways with Sandy Brondello 1 year removed from a
This sets up a massive contradiction. How does firing a coach 1 year after she delivered the ultimate result, a championship, position you for a sustainable future? This philosophical clash between celebrating past success and betting on an uncertain new vision is the core of the controversy, leaving fans and analysts to wonder if the Liberty are solving a problem or creating one. While Brondello's overall resume is stellar, the 2025 season reveals specific cracks that the front office zeroed in on. The Liberty season was indeed derailed by significant injuries to key players like Breanna Stewart, Jonquel Jones, and the season-long loss of Betnijah Laney Hamilton. This forced Brondello to use a record-tying 18 different starting lineups, creating undeniable instability. However, GM Jonathan Kolb pointed to specific, persistent problems that he felt weren't solely due to injuries. He noted the team didn't respond well to physicality, had spacing issues, and took a major step back in defense and rebounding. Even more telling, he highlighted a drop in the Liberty's three-point and free throw attempt rates compared to the rest of the league, statistical hallmarks of their previous success. Beyond the stats, sources pointed to sometimes questionable rotation decisions, a conservative use of the bench, and that Brondello was outcoached at times, most notably during the first-round playoff loss to the Phoenix Mercury. So, while the championship banner still hangs, the front office saw a team whose identity was fading and whose coach might have reached her ceiling with this group.
A player get injured, and a player like Caitlin coming back has had 2 injuries this year. She's a great player. It would have been good for our crowd to see her, but hopefully they get to see her after post All-Star, get to play again. As for the All-Star, I'm excited to get to know her a little bit. I think that's the part of the All-Star. It's going to coach players that you haven't coached before and get them to know them a little bit and enjoy the whole celebration.
The most shocking revelation from Kolb was that a coaching change was very much under consideration last season, even as the team was winning its championship. He suggested the organization had already started thinking about innovation, but decided to lean into continuity for one more run. This means the 2024 title, a moment, Kolb said, will always mean the world to me, may have only temporarily paused the front office's doubts. This context transforms a championship or bust ultimatum from a one-season pressure cooker into part of a longer-term evaluation. It suggests that for Kolb, the how of winning was as important as the fact they won. He admitted it was about how we went about it during the title run. This adds a critical layer to the story. The front office wasn't just judging Brondello on the disappointing follow-up season. They were judging the sustainability of her coaching philosophy from the moment she hoisted the trophy. The unspoken truth may be less about a single failure and more about a fundamental, long-standing divergence in vision between the coach and the GM. Let's be clear, despite swirling social media theories, there is no evidence in any official report, statement, or credible sports journalism that links Brondello's firing to her comments about Caitlin Clark. The entire narrative connecting the two events appears to be speculative. The official reasons, as detailed by Kolb, were exclusively about basketball philosophy, innovation, and the team's performance trajectory. In fact, the one factor that was publicly noted as a point of contention was Brondello's use of her bench and rotations, a direct basketball strategy issue. Pivoting your script to acknowledge this lack of evidence can actually heighten the drama. You can frame it as a mystery where the simplest, most viral explanation, the Clark theory, doesn't hold up to scrutiny, forcing us to look deeper into the complex and perhaps more revealing world of front office politics and philosophical clashes over how the game should be played. The Caitlin Clark factor is a compelling fan theory, but the real story is happening in the front office, not on social media. While the culture of resistance against Caitlin Clark is a real and widely discussed topic in the WNBA, the search results show it was not a factor cited in Brondello's dismissal. Instead, a different cultural dynamic within the Liberty was on display, the strong bond between Brondello and her players. After the season-ending loss, franchise star Breanna Stewart responded to criticism of Brondello with a forceful, "What the fuck?" She added, "She has our back and we have hers. So we're not going to be a team that points fingers." Veteran guard Natasha Cloud was even more emphatic, stating, "Every player loves her, so I'm holding Sandy's back. She has my back. I think there should be a lot more respect, and that could be said to our fans too." This creates a powerful conflict for script. The front office made a decision that directly contradicted the public wishes of its superstar players. This sets up a high-stakes gamble for the Liberty, risking alienating the very cornerstones of their franchise in the name a new, undefined vision. In a crucial twist for your script, there are no credible reports from major outlets like ESPN, the Associated Press, or the New York Post indicating that Caitlin Clark made any public statement about Sandy Brondello's firing. The fiery quote, "If praising hard work is a problem, then the problem isn't me," attributed to her appears to be a fictional creation for your narrative. This revelation completely reframes the story's climax. The explosive response didn't come from Clark. It came from within the basketball world and the Liberty's own locker room. Fellow WNBA coaches expressed shock. Las Vegas Aces coach Becky Hammond said, "I didn't love it for Sandy. She's just won a championship. She's won in other places, and I know her to be a quality coach and a quality person." The real drama is that Clark, the alleged central figure in this drama, remained silent while the coaching fraternity and Brondello's own players voiced the outrage. This makes the front office's move seem even more isolated and bold. The fallout from this decision places the Liberty's front office in a precarious position. GM Jonathan Kolb confirmed this was his decision alone, stating that while the organization prides itself on being player-led, there is a level of trust that leadership will make decisions, and ultimately, the decision's mine. This move is a massive test of that trust. With nearly the entire roster, including stars Stewart, Ionescu, and Jones, heading into free agency, Kolb is betting that his vision and the franchise's resources are enough to keep them. He expressed the utmost confidence they would return. Furthermore, the search for a new coach is pointing in a specific direction. Multiple sources indicate the Liberty are targeting candidates with NBA experience. This aligns with Kolb's innovation pitch, but represents a stark departure from the WNBA player and coach pedigree of Brondello. The fallout isn't just about fan anger. It's about a high-risk organizational shift in strategy that could either redefine the team or blow up in their faces. The credibility crisis is real, but it's not necessarily the one about Caitlin Clark. It's about how a coach with Brondello's pedigree, a top 5 coach in wins, a champion with multiple franchises, could be deemed not good enough for a team's future. However, while the Liberty face questions, Brondello's future is remarkably bright. She is immediately the top candidate on the market and has already received inquiries from 3 other teams with coaching vacancies: the Seattle Storm, Portland Fire, and Toronto Tempo. She is described as a coach who treats people with respect and can coach veterans, rookies, and everyone in between equally well. The irony is profound. The Liberty sought a fresh voice, but in doing so, they handed a proven winner and leader to a direct competitor. The crisis is one evaluation. The Liberty saw a coach they felt had taken them as far as she could, while the rest of the league sees a championship-winning asset, now available for free. And for Caitlin Clark, she emerges from this mess stronger than ever, but perhaps not in the way the viral narratives would have you believe. Her strength isn't rooted in a public confrontation she never actually had, but in her continued, unshakable focus on the one thing that truly matters: her game. While the basketball world exploded with theories and took sides, Clark's most powerful statement was made in silence by simply continuing to work. She didn't need to launch a public defense of Brondello because the coach's own record and the outpouring of support from peers did that for her. Instead, Clark demonstrated a more subtle, more potent form of leadership, the kind that understands that sometimes the loudest message is sent by not engaging the noise at all. This entire saga has, ironically, proven Brondello's original point about Clark's transformative impact better than any press release ever could. The fact that a coach's firing is instantly and almost universally linked to Clark, even without evidence, shows just how colossal her shadow is over the league. She has become the sun that the entire WNBA solar system orbits around, where every major event is somehow gravitationally pulled into her narrative. This isn't something she actively seeks. It's a phenomenon that follows her. The Liberty's decision, regardless of the true reason, is now a permanent part of her story, a testament to an influence so vast it can allegedly topple champions. This perception, real or not, cements her status as the single most consequential figure in the sport. Furthermore, this controversy has starkly highlighted the 2 parallel realities existing within the WNBA. On one hand, you have internal politics, the established hierarchies, and the behind-the-scenes power struggles that led to a champion coach losing her job. On the other, you have Caitlin Clark, who exists in a realm of pure, market-driven, fan-powered stardom. Her influence is measured in tangible, uncontrollable metrics: jersey sales that break records, television ratings that shatter expectations, and sold-out arenas in every city she visits. She doesn't need to win a power struggle within the league office because she has already won the hearts and wallets of the masses. The establishment's pushback looks increasingly like a futile effort to hold back a tidal wave with bare hands. Looking ahead, Clark's path is clear. This situation has handed her a priceless commodity, a relentless, built-in motivation. Every hard foul, every critical comment, and now every piece of league drama, like the Brondello firing, adds another layer of fuel to her competitive fire. It gives her a them against us mentality that can forge championship-level resilience within the Indiana Fever locker room. She doesn't have to manufacture a chip on her shoulder. The league is handing them to her in bulk. This external pressure is forcing her to evolve faster, to become tougher, and to lead more decisively. The goal is no longer just to be Rookie of the Year. It's to build a dynasty that can silence every critic and validate every supporter. In the end, Clark's legacy in the specific chapter won't be about a fiery quote she never gave. It will be about her poise. While everything around her was chaos, she remained the calm, steady center. She proved that her power isn't in reacting to every headline, but in controlling what she can control: her performance, her professionalism, and her connection with the fans who have made her the face of the sport's new era. The establishment can try to push back, but every time it does, it only makes her legend grow. And with every game-winning shot and every broken record, that legend moves further and further out of their reach, solidify her not just as a player, but as an unstoppable force in the world of sports. This whole saga is a stark reminder that in sports, the battles off the court can be just as intense as the ones on it. It's a story about how fragile egos and political games can sometimes overshadow pure achievement. The New York Liberty had a dynasty in the making and may have shattered it with one reckless decision. A gamble that places a philosophical bet over proven results. The landscape of the WNBA has been permanently altered, not by a game-winning shot, but by a press release that has exposed a critical crossroads to the entire league. This moment forces us to ask a much bigger question. What is the true price of growth? Is it found in the comfort of familiar systems, or in the chaotic, unpredictable energy of a new generation? The Liberty's decision is a case study in this tension. They chose to dismiss a known winner in pursuit of an unknown variable, betting that a new voice can somehow harness a wave of popularity that they themselves seem hesitant to fully acknowledge. The incredible irony is that in trying to get ahead of the league's evolution, they may have alienated the very players who are living it. The repercussions will be felt for years. Every coaching hire, every front office decision, and every free agent signing will now be viewed through the lens of this move. Did the Liberty just set a dangerous new precedent, where even a championship isn't enough to secure your future? Or did they have the courage to make a tough, forward-thinking decision that other teams will eventually thank them for? The answer won't come from press conferences or social media debates. It will be decided on the hardwood, in the wins and losses, and in the silence of an empty arena if their stars decide to walk away. This is more than a sports story. It's a lesson in leadership, loyalty, and the immense risk of fixing something that wasn't broken. This story is far from over. What do you think happens next? Do the Liberty stars re-sign? Does Sandy Brondello immediately lead a rival team to glory? Let me know your take in the comments below. And if you haven't already, like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories everyone is talking about.